I was elected in 16, and since then, with all my colleagues here, we've begged, implored and appealed to you to declare a housing emergency, to recognise that we have a crisis, and you've utterly failed to do that. And once again, you just keep turning language on its head, even in relation to social housing, and you called HAP provision social housing. So I'm here today to support this motion. And just the Housing Commission has been quoted many times, and it's really worth quoting because it had 200 meetings and 83 recommendations. But I want to highlight 3 alone that we rarely hear from the government. And they said we should base our housing policy on an assessment of the housing required for a well-functioning society. We cannot have a well-functioning society if tenants are going from emergency to emergency accommodation. Also, another prominent finding was the negative impacts of housing crisis on overall quality of life in Ireland. 74% of respondents indicated that their housing situation, 74%, had indicated negatively affected the quality of life. And then for me, really, really important, account must be taken in housing policy of the full economic and social costs associated with not meeting Ireland's requirements. And of course, the easiest cost to identify is the money that we're putting straight into landlords' pockets and calling it social housing under HAP, under long-term leasing, under RAS. And then we have Galway, a situation in Galway where we have entities working on their own, lots of land at Kent Station, doing entirely its own thing. The docks area, do you know what they're going to develop, Minister? Not social housing, not public housing, premium housing on public land held in trust by the Harbour Company for the people of Galway. They're going to get the highest value, the highest price on their site to develop premium housing. In a city where we have a catastrophic housing crisis, Simon every quarter produce reports to say there are no houses available, even under the discretionary scheme when the money goes higher under HAP, none available. I'm waiting again for the first quarterly of this year. A city where we have people coming into all our offices and they're waiting between 16 and 20 years for a house. A city where the homeless services are at capacity. And you're simply ignoring a housing commission that set at your request, had all of these meetings, 83 recommendations, telling us we need a radical reset of housing policy, a radical reset. Now, anybody with a bit of sense would say we failed. Put your hands up. We all agree. The system has failed, but you persist in rewarding developers, in rewarding private profit businesses on every level, in direct provision, in housing, and homeless services. The figure was quoted earlier by one of my colleagues. Surely, at some stage, you're going to recognise the cost of not doing something, as the Commission has pointed out, is going to be astronomical, psychologically and financially.